The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, my throat's a little dry. Let me take a sip of this water. Hopefully it's not spiked. But anyway, let's talk about the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury press conference, because that was the fuss. That was all the hooting and hollering was about today. A lot of people were wondering what was going to happen, and I found it quite interesting for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I wanted to say shout out to Deontay Wilder. You know, he finally did what he was supposed to do. He gave honor to the one and only true God, the Lord, his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. My Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the Savior of the entire world, Jesus Christ, man. So it's good to see that the beatings that Tyson Fury gave him in the first and second fight have gotten him to this point to where he's giving Jesus his just due. You know, ain't that beautiful? It don't matter it don't matter how you start. At some point in time, God gonna get his glory. So it was good to see that. But he said he wanted to give all praise to his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and he didn't really have a lot to say. You know, he had this whole he tried to present this aura that he was locked in and serious, but I can see right through it. Deontay Wilder don't want to fight Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder's in here for a payday. He gonna get beat up worse the third time that he's ever got beat up in his entire career. And I find that very interesting because, you know, I watched a lot of the Deontay Wilder interviews with Malik Scott, and I found it very interesting that when Tyson Fury was in these people's presence, that they did not keep anywhere close to the same energy they had in these interviews they did with some of these LDBC channels, who I'm not going to name it because they're piss stained to the YouTube boxing community. But you know who I'm talking about. They did interviews with certain people in the LDBC on YouTube, the piss stains on boxing, and they talked a lot about cheating. They talked a lot about a lot of false allegations. They talked a lot about racism and all these things. And I heard none of these things brought up today at the press conference. You know, none of these things were brought up at the press conference when they had the biggest platform possible to do it. So it just goes to show you that they aren't who they claim to be. All right, they didn't keep that same energy. So that's number one. Number two, Tyson Fury exposed Malik Scott because he pretty much told Malik Scott, he alluded to a sparring session, and it came out that Malik Scott got his ear busted in sparring by Tyson Fury years ago. So he pretty much told Malik Scott and looked him squarely in his eye and said, hey, look, look, man, how are you going to teach Deontay Wilder how to beat me when you wasn't no great fighter yourself? And when we sparred, I busted your eardrum. I busted your fighter's eardrum, and I busted your eardrum. So what the fuck are you going to show him? You know, that's what Tyson Fury pretty much said to Malik Scott. And it kind of reminded me of when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, and you know, Oscar De La Hoya was like, you know, I opened the vault and I gave the blueprint to Canelo. But then, you know, Floyd pretty much said, look, how you going to show him how to beat me when you lost to me? You lost. You got your ass kicked. I kicked Oscar's ass, and every fighter he promoted, and Oscar's ass. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I'm really hoping for Deontay Wilder's sake, like, look, and this is only my 2 cents, so they can take it or leave it. I know Tay Jones watches a lot of these channels. So Tay, hello if you're there, Tay. If you come across this video, Tay, tell your boy Wilder that he should really be more gracious with the media in the build-up to this fight, because, you know, if he continues going the way he's going, if you think he got backlash for the excuses in the second fight and the rematch, it's gonna be worse, because he's digging a hole for himself. He's digging a hole for himself, and like, he's doing all these things for the wrong reasons, you know. And look, Deontay Wilder is a very angry man. He's a very angry man when it comes to Tyson Fury. He can't accept reality. He can't face the facts. He's stubborn in his thoughts. He thinks it was everything but himself. So that's his burden to carry. But the reality is this: any man who has anger isn't a man. Any man who has anger is a woman. And Deontay Wilder, when he gets touched by Tyson Fury, is going to turn into the irrational gunslinging fighter he's always been. And when that happens, Tyson Fury gonna catch his ass, because while Deontay Wilder may be improving, and while Malik Scott might be able to get a tune out of him and tweak his style, the unfortunate part for Wilder is, even if he shows up and fights his best fight, the unfortunate part for him is that Tyson Fury is gonna show up and fight his best fight, because Tyson Fury has been diligently working since before the second fight with Wilder to fight like the way God made him to fight, being 6'9", a 270-pound tank or just a beast of a man. And that's going to be something to deal with, you know. Grown man punches is something he's going to have to deal with come July 24th. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles it, because the reality is this: boxing is a mental sport, and if you don't deal with your things outside the ring mentally as a fighter, you'll never be able to deal with them physically when challenges present themselves. And I don't believe in this, and it's my perspective that Deontay Wilder never properly dealt with the loss of Tyson Fury in the rematch. He wanted to blame it on everything other than the fact that Tyson Fury on that particular night, February 20th or January 20th, or whatever it was, 2020, he didn't want to just give the man his just due. So okay, you want to keep going how you're going? It's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. It really is, because you're not fighting that Tyson Fury. You're fighting an even better Tyson Fury. You're fighting a Tyson Fury whose punches are gonna be straighter, who are gonna be harder, that are gonna have more leverage behind them. You're gonna fight Tyson Fury who's gonna be doubling up, tripling up, and quadrupling up on hooks. Your ass is grass, and I can't wait for this third fight. And look, I've said it many times: if Deontay Wilder goes in there and he proves that all this stuff isn't a charade, and he really is locked in, and he goes out there and knocks Tyson Fury's block off, then fair credit to him, because then he's proven himself to be worth everything he says he is as a heavyweight fighter. You know, because anybody who's going to beat Tyson Fury has got to be a special fighter. Anybody. And that goes for Wilder himself. So if Wilder beats Tyson Fury, full credit to him. But I know the mindset that he'll never beat Tyson Fury. His best chance to do it was the first fight. He didn't do it. You know, had a chance to do it in the second fight, didn't do it. And we're having a third fight in a month, and he ain't going to do it there either. So the press conference, I think the fight will go a lot like the face-off one. You know, these two were staring down for about 6 minutes or so, 5 minutes and some change. One of the longest face-offs I can think of in recent memory. And you saw Deontay Wilder stoic and staring at Tyson Fury, but he looked away first. He broke concentration and walked away first. And it was mental victory for the Gypsy King. So I think that stare down will reflect the fight. Deontay Wilder will come the best prepared he's ever been. He will probably fight better than he has in both of the fights before, but he's going to fall a bit short. And there's no shame in that, because Tyson Fury, I genuinely believe this, and I thought this for a long time. Tyson Fury, when it's all said and done, is going to go down as one of the best heavyweights of all time. So there's not going to be any shame in losing to a guy like that, okay? He can beat a lot of other top guys. Tyson Fury ain't one of them. But the fight will go like the face-off went, and Deontay Wilder don't got the minerals to beat Tyson Fury. I said it once, I'll continue to say it. Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight of this era, and I'm going to keep saying it until proven otherwise. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know a lot of the Wilder fans will have a lot to say about this. I'm sure I'll get a couple of comments from you idiots criticizing me and things like, oh, you're going to say, oh, be true school, you're racist, and all this, you know, nonsense that I traditionally get in the Wilder videos. But at the end of the day, it's just boxing. May the best man win. If it's Wilder, credit to him. If it's Fury, credit to him. I just want to see the damn fights. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.